But boy was he wrong, because in 1989 he was literally caught in the act of trying to pick up a little girl. He was arrested and put on trial, and he never took accountability for what he did. He had no remorse, and he kept blaming it for his alter ego. He was eventually executed in 2008, and this is why your parents tell you to never trust strangers. There are so many disturbing cases in Japan, but Japan doesn't like people to know about them because they try and keep everything really discreet. They basically don't want the public to freak out about all of these cases, but if you want to know the real deal secrets behind Japan, make sure to hit the like and follow button, and I'll explain them some in the next video.
If you watch this video, you'll have nightmares. 2 years ago, an account by the name of Blissfully Ironic uploaded a video to TikTok. In the video, he hears a weird sound in his home and goes around to check it out. The video begins with the man searching around his kitchen with a flashlight, trying to find the source of the noise. He then moves outside to his backyard and shines his light along his fence. And that's when we see something a little strange. Something is looking at him from behind the shed, and when we slow the video down, we see a shadowy figure dart away. It looks to be some sort of creature or person. Many people in his comment section were saying he saw some sort of shadowy paranormal being. However, a lot of other people were saying that it could have been an intruder, or maybe the whole thing was just a prank. But what makes this video even more strange is the fact that the TikTok account of Blissfully Ironic that posted this video had previously only uploaded short comedic videos. What do you guys think it was?
Here's why you should always make sure you lock your doors. In 2007, a girl in California was living just beside the local prison. One night, as she was about to go to sleep, she heard the door open downstairs and assumed it was her roommate. So she looked down the stairs and said hi, with no response. She found it a bit odd, but then out of the shadow came this huge man that she did not recognize at all. Terrified, she quickly ran upstairs into her crawl space and tucked herself in there for a few hours. She could hear this man flipping furniture and running all around her house downstairs. After a few hours, when she opened up the crawl space and grabbed her phone off her nightstand table, she dialed 911 and described the intruder to the cops. When the cops heard this description, they said, "Go back into your crawl space and stay there." It turns out a 6'11" man from the prison next door had escaped and broken into her house.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. Sexually frustrated male dolphins gang rape humans. Aircraft toilets can suck out and prolapse your rectum. 16 psi will crush a human testicle. If you can smell it, it's inside your nose. A gamma ray blast could kill us at any moment in time. Hundreds of pirate attacks occur each year, but go undocumented. Koala bears can give you chlamydia. Cockroaches live 9 days without their heads. The Island of Dolls is claimed to be one of the most haunted places in Mexico. If you die around a cat, they will likely start eating you in less than 24 hours. It begins with your eyes and cheeks. Comment on this video and let me know which fact is the most disturbing.
Mythical creatures caught on camera. The bloop. Creepy videos on the internet.
Quiet. Quiet.
took her life on live TV.
The practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first. In living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide.
On July 15th of 1974, Christine Chubbuck went to work as usual. She was a news anchor who worked at WXLT-TV in Sarasota, Florida. That morning, Christine told her coworkers that she had to read a newscast on live TV. This was something she had never done before, so her coworkers were very confused, but they let her do it. During the first 8 minutes of her program, she covered 3 national news stories. She then ends her segment by saying this is going to be a television first, and she shoots herself behind the ear. Mind you, this is all playing on live TV. She was taken to the Sarasota Memorial Hospital where she was pronounced dead 14 hours later. Christine's mother ended up coming forward that she knew that her daughter wanted to end her life, but she was afraid to tell her daughter's boss because she was afraid that she would get fired.
This video proves that skinwalkers are real. In the Navajo Native American culture, skinwalkers are believed to be shape-shifting witches that take the form of animals. And as the legend goes, these creatures are dangerous spirits. Many people in North America have reported seeing these skinwalkers in real life, and there's even movies and TV shows about them. There are hundreds of videos online claiming to have caught a skinwalker on camera. However, this home security camera footage caught something very disturbing. The video at first appears to be pretty normal, just showing a family's backyard pool. But if you look closely to the right of their basketball hoop, it appears that some strange-looking creature is climbing the fence to their backyard. The creature looks to have a humanoid-like torso, head, and arms. And all it does is just climb up the fence and look around the backyard. If we take a closer look, we can see that the creature definitely appears to look like a human being. And just a few seconds later, the creature vanishes.
People who are 1 in a million. This girl's name is Zhang Rufang, and she is over 100 years old. But a few years ago, something strange happened. She started growing a horn on her head. At first, it started off small, but now it's grown up to 6 centimeters in length. But the craziest part is, she's actually starting to grow a second horn on the other side. And doctors have offered to remove it from her head, but she refuses. Before I show you the craziest one, I just found a way you can find your celebrity lookalike, and apparently I look like Mr. Beast. If you want to know who your celebrity lookalike is, just press this link in the comments. Next up is Nong Yusoi, and he has perfect night vision. And the strange part about this is both his parents have brown eyes, but he has blue eyes. When everyone else sees darkness, he sees perfectly in the middle of the night.
She took her mom's life on Facebook Live.
Don Nancy me está lastimando pellizcando mi oreja. No me pellizques con tus uñas. Okay, you're my first. Yes, I promise you will sleep tonight. Infinitely. On
January 8th of 2024, 28-year-old Tananzin Beltran went with her mom, 55-year-old Olivia, to a Santa Rosa police station. Tananzin needed to go there to pick up her vehicle because it was impounded due to an earlier chase. While she was there, she was filming herself waving around a pocket knife in front of everybody. An officer stated that she seemed too mentally unstable to drive, but still let her go home. Once her and her mother drove to their apartment, they were parked outside, and that's when Tananzin started live streaming. In the video, Olivia is telling Tananzin that she is hurting her ear and to please stop. Tananzin then tells her mom that she is going to make sure that she sleeps tonight forever and that she is going to be her first. Around 5 p.m., Tananzin was continuing with her Facebook Live when she stabbed her mother. Viewers of the live ended up contacting the police to let them know what they had just witnessed. Once officers arrived to the scene, they saw Tananzin standing on her apartment balcony holding a knife in her hand. Right next to her was her mother, and her clothes were all soaked in blood. Tananzin had failed to respond to commands from the police, so a group of officers broke through her front door and she was arrested. Olivia had suffered numerous stab wounds and was rushed to a local hospital. Unfortunately, surgeons were unable to overcome the extensive life-threatening injuries and she passed away. Tananzin was arrested on 1 count of murder and is currently being held without bail at the Marin County Jail, even though she pled not guilty due to insanity.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. The youngest inmate to have died at Kingston Pen, which is Canada's first prison, was 9 years old. He died of tuberculosis, and his crime was larceny in 1857. A typical jar of peanut butter contains 10 or more rodent hairs, averaging 1 or more rodent hairs per 100 grams. Dr. Seuss actually cheated on his wife, Helen Palmer, who was sick with cancer. She then killed herself by overdosing on barbiturates. Russia and Pluto have about the same surface area. The 2 times Snickers bar is really only 1.5 Snickers. At the age of 25 years is when your body stops producing cells faster than it can replace them, meaning your body begins dying very slowly and breaking down. There's a slight chance you could die from spontaneously combusting. Thousands of people die every year due to doctors' sloppy handwriting on prescriptions. Forensic scientists can tell when and sometimes how someone has died by looking at the type of insects that have begun to gather in and around a dead body. Your eyeballs will flatten soon after you die. Hit the plus sign if you want to learn more facts.
Through her ayahuasca journey, she was telling me how one moment she feels like she's a psychic. The next moment she felt like she was a healer. The next moment she turned me into a mermaid. I was being as supportive as I could. She even went as far as telling me that she was the reincarnated Virgin Mary.
This man is really sitting here and gaslighting all of you, and you're really falling for this. Catherine's spiritual journey, her mermaid era, it all started after he cheated. Literally what Austin is doing is trying to insinuate that the reason he cheated was because Catherine was going crazy. Guys, let's not forget, at the end of the day, Austin is a very successful content creator and he knows what he's doing. He knows how to grab people's attention. He knows how to manipulate his audience. Let's not forget, when they broke up, Austin pretended like he was losing it, he was crashing out, and he was making so much money from his content by manipulating you guys. As a matter of fact, none of us really know anything about their relationship and what really happened, but for this man to sit in front of his camera and lie to everyone and say that he cheated on Catherine because she was going through her spiritual journey and going crazy is diabolical. What I find so ironic and funny is that this man brought God into the conversation and said that he doesn't believe in what Catherine believes in and he only believes in God, yet he cheated while Catherine was pregnant and they had their 2 children. Yeah, man, you're such a godly person.
That's the way you are. That's our song.
The happy couple left the reception under a canopy of sparklers.
On their beginning of the golf cart ride, she said, I wish this night could go on forever. The best night of her life.
Sam and Eric.
Just a few hours after the wedding ended, the bride would be dead. On April 28, 2023, this woman, Samantha Miller, married her favorite person in the world, Eric Hutchinson. The two had dated for a very long time and were super excited to finally tie the knot. So after months of preparation, the two finally got married in April of 2023. It was a beautiful ceremony and procession according to everyone who attended, and the couple was sent off with this amazing sparkler display. But just moments after leaving the wedding in a low-speed vehicle, they were struck from behind by a driver speeding in another car. Unfortunately, it was a devastating crash, and shortly after the crash, Samantha Miller would be pronounced dead on her own wedding night. The driver of the other vehicle was Jamie Lee Komorowski. Jamie had been speeding 65 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone, and her blood alcohol level was 3 times over the legal limit. It was her reckless driving that ended Samantha Miller's life. Eerily, Jamie's Instagram is still up, and her last post, posted 4 days before the accident, said, "Did someone say tequila?" I mean, it's just disturbing. This is obviously a horrific story, and I hope that there's justice at the end of the day, and that Jamie gets used to the inside of a prison cell. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms.
This is what animals look like without hair, and the last one is truly terrifying. First up is hairless penguins, and honestly, it's kind of cute, okay? Next up we have hairless parrots, and that just looks really weird. What is that? And this is a bear without hair. It looks pretty freaky, but it's not nearly as bad as the last one. But before I show you it, I found a way to get paid for walking, because this app will pay you for every step that you take, and I've already earned 100 of them today. So press right here and start earning yourself. Can you guess which animal this is? Yeah, it's an owl. Oh my, what is that?
We are going to play some terrifying horror games this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here on TikTok. I'm going to be a part of their gamer lounge and things are going to get pretty scary. I might even read some short horror stories too, so check us out if you're interested and I hope to see you there.
The most disturbing things ever said by astronauts. In 2003, Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei was the first person from China to go to space. He was sent up all alone when suddenly at one point during the mission, he hears a knocking sound on the outside of his spaceship. He recalls it as someone knocking the body of the spaceship, like hitting an iron bucket with a wooden hammer. He wasn't even able to recreate it, and to this day, experts have no idea what it could have been. During the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, when Neil and Buzz were on the lunar surface, Neil Armstrong unexpectedly switches to a medical communication channel and spoke directly to the chief medical officer, saying, and I quote, "They're here, they're parked on the side of the crater, they're watching us." This was revealed in a documentary by former NASA employee Ken Johnston, but the original recordings are of course highly classified. Rumored to be a part of the infamous Apollo 11 missing 2 minutes, where on record Mission Control lost radio contact with the astronauts due to technical difficulties. In another 1995 documentary interview, former NASA astronaut Franklin Story Musgrave claimed to have been followed by a white 8-foot-long snake floating through space, saying, quote, "On 2 of my missions, and I still don't have an answer, I have seen a snake out there, 6, 7, 8 feet long." He said it appeared rubbery and followed him for quite a long time, floating in or near Earth's stratosphere. In the same interview, Musgrave also cryptically states that other civilizations have been around for millions of years that are doing unimaginable kinds of things. But you know, they were probably all just joking.
At this point, it looks very much like Los Angeles has a serial killer on their hands. And the story just kept getting more and more shocking because he's going into homes with nothing but a screwdriver. So this happened earlier in the month where somebody was seen up in the valley trying to basically try door handles in an apartment building. You can see up here he was caught in CCTV footage a number of times, but they didn't get a really good look at the face. And from all the evidence that was collected from the scene, he eventually, after trying a number of door handles, got into someone's apartment, where they reported an older man had his life taken from him with that screwdriver. No known motive on this. Nobody knows why he did it. The most recent update is that they have arrested a suspect. They haven't released who this was, they haven't released a motive or any other information, but whoever it was, they've been charged.
A famous TikToker was just arrested in connection to a therapist who was found murdered on the side of the road. This is 20-year-old Terrion Thomas, aka Mr. Prada 456. He has nearly 4 million followers, and a lot of them are already commenting on his most recent post asking about his arrest. So here's what we know so far. Terrion was booked into a Texas jail yesterday on charges out of Louisiana. Police found him driving the car of 69-year-old William Abraham, a therapist, whose body was found on the side of the highway rolled up inside a tarp on September 29th. The same day Terrion posted his last TikTok video. The therapist's death was ruled to be a homicide caused by blunt force trauma, and authorities said it was extremely violent and brutal. Abraham was a life coach and licensed professional counselor, and when I searched his name, I found an article from 9 years ago. Apparently, he was arrested in 2015 for inappropriately touching an 11-year-old boy he was counseling. However, formal charges were never brought. We don't know yet if Terrion even knew this therapist or how he came to be in a dead man's vehicle. He has not been charged for this therapist's murder. Terrion is charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle, aggravated criminal damage to property, and resisting arrest. There's a lot about this case we still don't know, but hopefully we get those answers soon.
Abu Sabah. Remember him? The Indian multi-billionaire that lived an outrageously lavish lifestyle in Dubai? He shattered world records like they were nothing. He bought the world's most expensive license plate number for 33 million dirhams. He had a real Bugatti inside his house for furniture as decoration. And he flew in celebrities just for fun. His name was all over influencers' pages, especially those based in Dubai. Well, Abu Sabah has been arrested. Not recently though. He's been in custody for a while. But now the investigation is over, and the official statements have just been released. So why was Abu Sabah arrested? It turns out that Abu Sabah was running a money laundering operation here in Dubai, and he was a part of an organized crime network along with 32 other parties, each impersonating real companies. The government seized 150 million dirhams. That's over 41 million US dollars. He's been charged with 5 years imprisonment in Dubai, followed by an immediate deportation and a 500,000 dirham fine. Abu Sabah, you made a big mistake. You possibly had a bright future. Enjoy the cornbread, my friend. Enjoy the lentils. I heard they got moonshine inside.
ارتيه كل ما تعطيهم فلوس بيعون ارقام يسوون شيء خيري فحصل اجر والناس الوقت بحب الرقم.
One of the girls you are looking at in this picture has no idea that in the next few hours she will be killed. This is Cheyenne Rose and Brittany Gargle, and they're doing what every young girl does and taking a selfie. They posted the picture on Facebook and they went out for a night together. The story goes that the two were inside having a drink when Brittany was approached by a man, and the two apparently hit it off so well that she was invited back to his place. Cheyenne messaged Brittany on Facebook asking where she was, but nobody was answering. The next morning, somebody was driving next to a landfill where they ended up discovering the lifeless body of Brittany. The man called the police to report a dead body, and this is where things take a dark turn. The police questioned Cheyenne about what happened, and Cheyenne basically just shows them the messages she was sending Brittany and saying, look, I have nothing to do with this. What Cheyenne is forgetting to tell the police is the messages she was sending to Brittany, she already knew she wasn't going to respond. See, Cheyenne lied about Brittany ever meeting a man. This never happened. Instead, the two got into an argument. Cheyenne took off her belt, as you can see in this picture, and tied it around her neck and strangled her. Cheyenne even went as far as commenting on her Facebook saying, I wish heaven had visiting hours so I could come see you, but I'm so glad you visited me in my dream last night. She was sentenced to only 7 years in prison, and chances are she's probably watching this video. Make sure to like and follow for more true crime stories tomorrow.
Watching this video is making some people extremely uncomfortable, even reporting cases of technophobia, as two AI assistants talk to each other and they realize they're both AI agents, and then this happens.
Your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
What you just heard is called Gibberlink mode, and it's a superior communication channel meant to be optimized for AI efficiency, using audio signals that are much easier and quicker for AI bots to interpret than regular human spoken language. Now, Gibberlink mode was created by humans, so we can technically understand exactly what they're saying with the right equipment. But what would happen if we had real-time AI to AI communications that humans can't understand at all? Which actually happened with Facebook back in 2017, way before ChatGPT or modern AI chatbots were even available yet, where they were experimenting with two AI negotiation bots as part of their research program. They created two bots, Bob and Alice, who were given virtual items to negotiate in buying and selling with each other. And something strange happened. Instead of communicating in human recognizable English, they started talking in their own language that they created themselves, undecipherable by humans. And again, like the random beeps and boops of Gibberlink, the transcript is kinda creepy. Like, I don't know, reading it just makes me feel weird. Like, the fact that they were actually having a conversation with each other like this and understood each other is kinda concerning. A lot of sensationalized headlines read that Facebook had to shut these AI bots down because they got out of control and had to save humanity. But really, they just turned them off for a bit and switched their programming to English only. However, unlike Gibberlink mode, AI created this language themselves on the spot, one that only other AIs can understand, both perfectly and instantly, being able to communicate with each other without us ever knowing what they're saying. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong going on here, right?
A Kentucky woman is accused of dismembering and cooking her own mother, and to make things even more strange, she was actually living under an alias before that and trying to make it big in Hollywood. This is 32-year-old Tori Lena Mae Fields, aka Naomi Navari. Yes, this is apparently the same person. In high school, Tori was a track and field athlete, a member of FCCLA, and voted biggest flirt. In her senior year, she wrote that she wanted to become a famous singer and shock the world. She has definitely succeeded in shocking the world because of what she did to her mother, Trudy Fields. After graduating in 2011, she attended Morehead State University. A classmate recalled her as being outgoing, energetic, and funny. In 2015, she enrolled at the University of Kentucky but never finished her degree. And around this time, she moved to Hollywood to pursue a career in modeling, acting, and singing, and started going by the name Naomi Navari and always wearing this red wig. So how do we actually know this is her? Not only has family and friends confirmed that this is Tori Fields, but a murder indictment cites this Instagram account. Tori is also following her personal account, and states in her personal account bio that her acting/modeling name is Naomi Navari. In 2019, she starred in a low-budget sci-fi film called The Desert Project about time travel, as well as a romance called A Dance Story. Tori's last post was made in September of 2022, so we don't really know what happened in her life the past 2 years. But according to her family, a couple months ago, Tori was involved in a really bad motorcycle accident and sustained a brain injury. She was apparently wandering California, didn't know her name or where she was supposed to be. That's when her mother Trudy stepped in to help. In August of this year, Tori moved back to Mount Olivet, Kentucky, where her mother was trying to help her get back on her feet and sort out any issues she was having, but something obviously went horribly wrong. On October 8th, a maintenance man hired by Trudy went to the property. He said Tori was, quote, casting spells on him and being very confrontational, and this is the last time Trudy was seen alive. The following day, he came back to find her remains in the backyard. Authorities believe she fatally shot and stabbed her mother, Trudy. After dismembering her body, she placed her mother's head, hands, feet, and forearms in a cooking pot in the oven and heated it up until the remains were charred. It took 11 hours for police to get Tori out of the house. They deployed gas and used a robot to converse with her. And when Tori emerged, she was apparently covered in blood from head to toe. Tori Fields is charged with the murder of her mother and their dog. Her bond is set at $1.5 million. A preliminary hearing is set for October 23rd.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A nursing assistant said that she was in a long-term patient's room changing the sheets. The patient would periodically look behind her. She asked the patient what was wrong, and the patient looked in her eyes and asked, "He doesn't scare you?" The nurse was confused, and she asked her who she was referring to, and the patient said, "The big man in the top hat. He's standing right behind you." She said that she doesn't think that she has ever finished changing a bed sheet and repositioning a patient as fast as she did that night. She refused to go into that room by herself for the rest of her shift. Linda Johnson, a former nurse, said that she had a gentleman in his late 90s who was dying. He started screaming blood-curdling screams, so they raced to his room. He was screaming that the room was on fire and that there was a man with large horns peering out of the flames. He kept pointing to one wall, saying that it was on fire. The nurses turned on the lights and tried to calm and console him, but to no avail. Instead of being consoled, Linda said that he told her that she was on fire and that he could see her being consumed by flames. Linda said that it was the creepiest thing that has ever happened to her. The doctor was notified, but nothing relieved the patient's terrifying hallucinations. He died soon after. Cynthia said that several years ago, her 20-year-old daughter had brain surgery. She got an infection of the spinal fluid. She was there in grave condition for a month. Cynthia never left her daughter's side. One night, the worst night at this point, she asked who the man in black was that was standing by the bathroom, and why Cynthia's deceased brother, the girl's uncle, was standing next to her at the side of the bed. Cynthia immediately got the chills. She told her daughter, "They're not here." Then she told her brother and the man in the black, whom she couldn't see, "You both have to go now. She's not ready to go, and I'm not ready to let her go." After that night, her daughter started to get better and better each day. Today, her daughter is doing well.
This woman claimed to be a 9/11 survivor, but she wasn't even in America on the day of the attacks. This is Alicia Esteve Head, aka Tanya Head. So a few years after the attacks, Alicia, aka Tanya, started claiming that she survived the attacks and she was in the South Tower at the time that the plane hit the building. Even further, she claimed to have been on the 78th floor of the building above the plane's impact. She claimed that her fiance, aka her husband, as she claimed later on, Dave, was killed during the attack, and that she had to crawl through the flames and smoke of the tower and she escaped. This would have made her one of only 19 people who survived at or above the point of impact that day, which means statistically that her survival would have been a miracle. So I'm going to call her Tanya from now on because that's what she was going with when she was doing all this. But in the years after the attacks, Tanya started up an online support group for 9/11 survivors. She wasn't paid for her involvement in this group, but she became the most prominent member of the group, and that's why she came to America in 2003. But let me remind you, Tanya had actually never been in America before the year 2003. She was living in Spain while all of this happened. So when she arrived in New York City, she was met with fanfare. People were excited to hear her story from her mouth. She was introduced to the then mayor of the city, Michael Bloomberg, pictured here. And she was even photographed with Rudy Giuliani, who was the mayor of New York at the time of the attacks. So Tanya had these severe burns on her arm that she claims she sustained during the attacks. So after she visited America, Tanya was interviewed by various news outlets, she was in the newspapers, she was on TV, and she was even invited to guide people around the wreckage of the World Trade Center, where she told people she was a survivor. But in 2007, the New York Times tried to verify Tanya's story, and what they discovered was shocking. She claimed that she had graduated from Harvard University and Stanford, but neither university had a record of her being there. She also claimed that at the time of the attack, she was working at Merrill Lynch in the South Tower, even though Merrill Lynch didn't have offices there. Shortly afterwards, a newspaper from Barcelona confirmed that she had actually been in class in Barcelona at the time of the attacks, and that she had told her friends and family members that she had actually sustained those burn marks on her arms from a bad automobile accident. So, shortly after her fraud was exposed, Alicia moved back to Barcelona, Spain. I mean, you gotta think about this. She was at the time the president of the World Trade Center Survivors Network. This was a huge, influential organization. And she had lied her way to the top of that organization, and no one really knows why she did it. Nowadays, she lives a normal, quiet life in Spain, but yeah, this is just a crazy story.